It's about 7.5 feet deep here. We'll start here with the scud fly. Be focusing on 5 to 10 foot deep today. We're gonna run an experiment. We're gonna run my two favorite dead sticking flies today, which is scud patterns and blob patterns. So it's like this really interesting contrast between like hyper realistic, something that looks very much like what they feed on under the ice, versus something that looks nothing like what they feed on under the ice. Oops. I was just setting it and I got a fish. Well, I guess scuds work, as we already know. I literally just got here and was just setting that. And I wasn't even paying attention to the screen, and he just come in and smashed it. Feels like a good fish too. Well, that's one way to start the day. We need to get this off. Still very heavy. Hopefully it didn't take me into the weeds. Crazy. Feels kind of heavy. Maybe he took me in the weeds. I don't feel like I'm fighting a fish now. Well, maybe I am. Oh yeah, he's still there. He just took so much line right away. That is nuts. I mean, 10 seconds into the day already, and I got a fish. Haven't even, whoa, he's a big one. That's crazy. It's gonna be a while to get this one through the hole. I like to get the camera and everything all primed in my hands. I always take my gloves off, and then when I reach down the hole, they'll get wet. Everybody throws a giant fit every time I post a video, and they're like, you need to wet your hands. Well, I'm shoving my hands into a hole to grab a fish through it. They are wet. He puked up what looks like a baby rainbow trout. It's floating down the bottom right now. This is a lake where they'll put smaller put and grows. Look at that. Wow. That is intense. That is intense. The funny thing is this is just like a little cheap Wright and McGill Eagle Claw kit rod. Like even the reel is just plastic garbage. I've landed so many giant fish on it. That's one of the things I love about ice fishing, is just, it's like, it's the great equalizer. You don't have to have a big expensive boat. You don't have to have a super expensive rod or gear. You can catch nice fish with just inexpensive gear. I like how that line is hung up on a crack in the ice. Can't seem to get it out. Let's see if I can reach down underneath it. Got it out of there. Ooh, that is cold water. The crack in the ice, and the line was working its way up through it. He's swimming back towards me. Whew. He's a big boy. Wow. He is He means business. He's probably got a couple more runs like that in him if he's still able to take 5 or 6 foot. There he goes again. Look at that. Wow, he is fierce. The key is with these big trout, one is patience. Oh look, here's an amphipod right here. A scud floating in the surface here, a red one. Just came up. You see why they love to eat them so much. These are red ones. Wish I could stop and film that, but I don't want to lose this fish. And now there's lots of copepods in the hole. Ooh, saw his face that time he saw my face. He's like, no way am I going up there. That looks terrible. Woo, he is just a beast. Let's see if I can get him turned. Nope. But those runs are getting progressively shorter, which is good. Means I'm slowly winning. Well, I say that. Coming up tail first, which I typically do not like to do, but I think I'll do that right there. That can jerk me off. Yikes. That's not good. That's how not to do it. It's better to bring them up head first, and then when they turn their head, and when they drive their tail, they'll drive themselves up onto the ice. That was close though. I normally don't do that. What will happen a lot of times is the line will get hung up on a chunk of ice out here, and they drive tail first, and then they snap off, and then they're gone. So that's why I prefer not to do that. I prefer to go head first. Oof, it's getting close. Okay. I've got a lot of spunk. He's still taking line. Okay. Oh, almost had him there. It is no easy task landing these big boys through the ice. Okay, come on. There we go. Wow. That is a giant fish. A giant fish. Got it all wrapped around the jaw. My hands are wet. Oh, there we go. Look at the size of that thing. What a beast. Crazy. Alright, see you later, buddy. Quick release. Wow, what a great first fish on the scud. He hit that without any hesitation, too. I mean, I was just loading it and he just smashed it. So that was on a small size 16, I think, Rainey's scud. There was a scud that came up in here, but now I just don't see anything. I also use Kender's scuds, which are way more durable than the Rainey's. The Rainey's tend to come apart after 1 or 2 fish. Okay, well, let's reset, get back to business, get this hole going, then get the, see if we can get a fish on the blob fly. Okay, let's put a blob on. I tie my own because the ones that are commercially made suck. So I tie mine with tungsten and barbless hooks. I do really well with like a red blob. Let's see if we can find that guy. Call that the cherry blob. I'm not going to actively jig this just to keep it fair. I'm just going to set it and forget it. Well, I guess I'll just watch the fish finder and watch the rod tip for bites. I'm not going to actively jig it, as much as that pains me to do, because I get really bored. There he is, got him on the blob. That's the best way to get fish, is to, oh boy. Pick up your cell phone and get a cell phone bite. He just smashed that blob. Feels like another nice fish. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Head shaky. Head shaky. You cannot pressure these big trout through the ice. You just have to be patient. In my experience, a lighter drag and patience is the key to success. So what'll happen a lot of times, if I try and bring them up hot, they get up. Oh, whoa. He just completely switched directions. I thought I lost him there. Gotta keep pressure on them. Is they'll get up and they'll head flop inside that hole and leverage that hook out. Since I'm running barbless, the key is just constant pressure, which is why I run that lighter drag. And that way, by the time that, you know, they get up, oh, he's off right there, right through the hole, they will sometimes spit it right there, just like I did with that one. Bummer. Well, that's still a fish for the blob, so I'll count it towards its catch ratio of 1 to 1. That was a really nice one, just as big as that last one. Hook's still sharp though. Check the leader. All feels really good. I run fluorocarbon leader on these handheld rods. We'll get another shot. Can't land them all, that is for sure. I probably land about half of the big rainbows I hook during the winter months. It's frustrating, but it's just kind of a part of the game. You know, fighting a fish just through an 8-inch hole is very challenging because they can get slack in the line by just moving back and forth, side to side, and yeah, they can spit that hook real fast. It's definitely not like fighting them in open water where they can move away and you can move away from them and keep pressure. It's been a full moon, so the bite has been tougher the last few days. I'm gonna go with chartreuse. That's a bite. There he is, guy. All you have to do is threaten to change out of color. That happens to me so much. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna change out this lure. It's not catching anything, and boom, gets bit. Jeez, getting grumpy. He's hangry. I always get everything prepped so that I can get them up on the ice and then back underneath as quick as possible. I haven't seen him. Got him right in the nose. It's a nice fish. Ting, 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 ting. I hate that sound of the ice like that. Okay. Look at the size of that guy. There you go. Nice pink blob right in the nose. Really pretty fish. The blob should come right out. It's barbless, just like that. And he's on the surface for less than 20 seconds at most. And he's back in the water. But he got my gloves back. All right, that's 2 for the blob. On the pink cherry blob. I was going to change this out, but I think I'm just going to leave it. but I will rig up this other one. I had several fish come by and look at it and not bite. I don't know if that's the same individual. He just suddenly changed his mind, or if there's different fish cruising by that are turned on by different patterns. That's something I'd love to be able to discern, is how much is it just individual preferences versus like just fish as a whole keying in on certain patterns at certain times of the day. Another internet bite on the blob. He did not hesitate. This is gonna be a big one. Smoked that thing. Oh yeah, it's a giant. I don't want to try and bring him up yet. Ooh, he's really hot. So far, cherry blob is smashing the scuds today. On the lakes I fish where there are selective gear rules, we're not allowed to have bait. The blobs just are unreal how well they work, even on the automatic hooks that are just sitting there. Wow, he's so pretty. Okay, doesn't want the camera in his face. I knew he came up a little too fast for my comfort. You're almost there. Just gotta get his head turned. One tip is I always make sure that my leader is long enough. Like, since I'm running braid, I run like a 5 or 6 foot long chunk of fluorocarbon, because I don't want the knot going back and forth through the tip of the rod when I'm at these situations where I'm fishing and fighting them at the hole. That way that knot's not getting weakened by the tuck 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 across the ice on the guides and on the guides itself. I only want it to be that way until I basically got the fish at its terminus and I want to get it up on the ice. He's almost ready. Oh, he's off. Dang it. He did that little head slam and boom, he's gone. It happens. So that's 3 fish now on the blob and 1 on the scud. I did switch the scud up to a different color. So hopefully it pulls in a fish here soon. But I'm gonna put cherry blob back down there. Keep at it. No reason to fix what ain't broke. Alright folks, it's been a couple hours, just haven't seen any fish. I've had no bites. Definitely the blobs were the preferred lure today, which is interesting because I've been fishing this lake and several other lakes, and the scuds have really been consistently producing for me, but over the past week the bite kind of has sloughed off on the scuds, and so I thought today would be fun to see if maybe there's some change in their behavior. They would come in and look at the scuds but not hit them, and so I've switched up to the blobs, and I definitely got more hits today. I lost several fish, unfortunately, but that's just kind of the name of the game with these bigger trout. I'm trying to pull them up through really thick ice. Now we've got like 6-7 inches of ice with lots of crust on it, so lots of opportunity for them to leverage the hook out of their mouth. But it does show that you know, even in the same body of water, trout preferences for feeding will shift. Especially on these like dead sticks. I think, you know, if I had been jigging today, maybe I might have enticed a few more fish, but I really want to do a straight dead sticking comparison. And, you know, in the end, I ended up with 4 fish hooked on the blobs, although 3 of those were lost. One really nice one through, and then 1 on the scud right away, but then the dead stick automatic hook setter with scuds ran for 3.5 hours with no additional bites, which is just crazy. So, really interesting. It's always fun to learn from this. That's part of the joy of fishing for me, is just doing these little tests and learning from them. So if you have any questions or comments, hit me up in the comment section below, and I will see you next time. Just remember, fish smarter, not harder. Bye-bye, guys.